All right, so I just watched my first Real Madrid game of this season. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't catch the first two games. And I learned a little bit, but I also came away with it with a lot of questions as well too. They've beaten Mallorca today 2-1. And it's really a game of two halves, honestly, because the first half, I think Madrid, for the most part, were pretty dominant. Two disallowed goals, two goals on top of that. I think the best football we've seen Vinicius play over a game, I would say, for a minute now. And then the second half, I don't know if complacency just kind of slipped in, or Mallorca really took a foothold of the game, or Madrid, I don't know. I have no idea, to be honest with you. I'd probably lean towards the former, because whenever I do watch Madrid, it does feel like they have that air of complacency that can always creep in, because I don't know, I think sometimes they just think like, because we're Madrid, we should just be able to see ourselves over the game. But I don't know, man. This game was a weird one. This game was a really weird one. I want to say what I liked first and foremost. The wing-back duo, the full-back duo that Real Madrid employ is ridiculous. Trent and Alvaro Carreras. Okay, Trent, we know him very, very well. One of the world's best right backs. For my money, the best right back when everyone is fit, when everyone is firing, because I just think the things that he can do with a football, there isn't a fullback out there that can also replicate it. His passing range is outrageous. His vision is outrageous. His way to pass is outrageous. He's just a wonderful footballer playing at right back. However, today, on top of the fact that we got to see his crosses and his passes and his switches, that's always going to be there. I think he took the dropping to Carvajal the other week personally, because you saw as well too, he really took the defensive side of the game very, very seriously. And I think with Trent, that's always the thing that we always highlight, right? We always highlight a player's weaknesses rather than maybe looking at what they can do, we look at what they can't do. But this game really showcased that when Trent really locks in, and I've always thought this, but when Trent really locks in and focuses, there's no reason why he can't be a good fullback. It's not like he's not strong, he's not athletic, he's not quick. He is all of that stuff. I feel like it's a focus issue with Trent more time. But you saw today, clearances, blocks, tackles, off the line. There was one where Mallorca from the right put up a ball into the box and all Mallorca needed to do was tap it in and Trent was first there to clear it away. Really impressive performance by Trent. Maybe one of the best 2 to 3 players in the game. And certainly Alvaro was the other one. Alvaro Carreras was unbelievable today. My man of the match. On the ball, running forward, inverting, overlapping, getting out of tight situations, his passing, and then his defending. And maybe the moment of the game came in that off the line clearance that stopped a certain goal. But it's not just your typical off the line clearance. If you look at a different angle, which they showed, his awareness to start sprinting to the line before the ball is even kicked, because he knows if there's a chance he can get there, he might be able to save his team. What an absolute player Alvaro Carreras is. And what an idiot Man United is yet again. What an idiot. Seriously, this kid was ours. This kid was a Manchester United player. He was on the books, available for selection. And a certain genius by the name of Erik ten Hag sent this guy packing. For who? Tyrell Malacia. And now this kid's at Real Madrid. Whereas Malacia, we can't even find a new club for him. But wow, what a player he is. First and foremost, exceptional talent ID from whoever is in charge at Real Madrid and Xabi Alonso for identifying that he could be the kind of fullback that his system requires. And shout out to Alvaro as well too, because oftentimes you see maybe the journey isn't the same for everybody, right? So for some players, leaving Man United when he did could be seen as like a step down and he's never going to get back to that step. He was on loan at Preston for a little bit, then ended up moving to Benfica. And I really kind of got him back on my radar last season in the Champions League game against Barcelona. It was Alvaro versus Lamine Yamal. And I'm watching Alvaro Carreras, and this was in Benfica, and he's locking up Yamal at times. Like, honestly, he's giving him hell. And this is a Yamal that we saw destroy virtually every fullback in the world last season. But Alvaro gave him as good a game as I have seen from anybody. And since that moment, he has grown leaps and bounds. And I think United had an option to bring him back that I think he rejected because he knew if a club like Real Madrid, which I believe is actually his original club before he came to United, if they could come back in for him, it's a no-brainer, man. But in those two, Trent and Alvaro, wow, what a fullback partnership they are. I think they're set for the next 5 years with those two. And I think even Dean Oysen, so good, so composed. He got the assist for the Arda Guler equalizer, a header across goal. But just in general, Dean is a cool, composed customer. Even though I do think maybe not his best game, but even his not best game is still something to behold. And the passing range, the vision as well too, the line splitting passes. Dean Oysen is an absolute joke of a player. Now, I like that, and the other thing I really like, Vinicius Jr. It's not vintage Vini. I'm not going to go out here and say that Vini's back, because I think Vini showed us a level 2 years ago that we now need to hold him accountable for. That's the level we know Vinicius can get to, a potential best player in the world level. Anything less than that, I'm sorry, for me now is underwhelming. You introduced me to a vibe, please maintain it. This wasn't that vibe, but it was still vibing. You know what I mean, right? we still saw Vini at least being able to beat his fullback. And I mean, he grabs the winner today, and the goal is just, for me, vintage Vini. I mean, driving, weaving, cutting out on his left, which I thought was odd at the time, but then shooting across goal in the manner that he did. It was a typical Vinicius Jr. goal. Now, the reason I say it's not vintage Vini for me yet is because I still think at times his head almost gets stuck between his feet, right? Like, he's looking down and he's dribbling, and then another guy comes to defend him, to almost double team him, and he doesn't notice until it's too late, and now he's got 2 players on him, and he's just going around in circles before making a pass, and it's just like, this could have been a whole lot more efficient. This could have. And I think something that Ancelotti did really, really good 2 years ago, less so last year, was by playing Vini in that front 2. They were playing the diamond, and he was a part of that front 2. But I thought that system allowed him to receive the ball in more effective, efficient areas, right? Like, when he's receiving it running into goal, right? If he receives it in a position where he looks up and he's in an attacking position. He can really hurt defenses. Sometimes I think Vini, like, he's picking up the ball and, like, you're 40 yards away from goal, you're trying to dribble a player, and I'm like, you're not really helping the team right now. You know what I mean? You're not really in a position to hurt opposition fullbacks. You want to get Vini as close to goal as possible and in as dangerous positions as possible. And then you've seen the goal today. That perfectly encapsulates why. Because this guy close to goal with the opportunity to beat one man and then be one-on-one can really be a problem. So Vinicius is getting there. He's not there yet, but he's getting there. Now, on to the things I didn't personally like, right? First and foremost, the midfield. Now, I like the players in the midfield, but today I thought they were very, very quiet and borderline invisible at times. I'm talking Fede, and I'm talking Guler as well too. Now, Guler, I watched these two the entire Club World Cup, right? Where Xabi Alonso was playing a 3-5-2. And it was Guler, Jude, and Fede in midfield with Tchouaméni in behind them. And I think that balance really worked. But I also think it worked because Jude Bellingham is like the jack of all trades player ever. Like, he just can do a little bit of everything. He's so versatile. He's so unselfish. He's so intelligent. This Real Madrid midfield needs Jude Bellingham. He is everything for them. And I think without him, Fede struggles a little bit, and I also think Guler struggles a little bit as well too. Now, Guler had a really nice role in the Club World Cup, right? Pick up the ball off his center backs, get plays started, high volume passer, high volume touches of the ball, and then try and find your attackers with those line splitting passes. However, with Guler, I often come away from his games thinking, you did well. I don't think you stunk the place up, but you have so much more to offer. I really think I feel underwhelmed watching him play sometimes. Yes, he's very neat. Yes, he's very tidy. Yes, he registers a lot of passes and touches, but too many of the passes for me are going back or sideways or like simple 2-yard passes, which is fine. It's needed. But I think to be a Real Madrid midfielder, you need a little bit more quality. You need to kind of be looking for your forwards. You need to really be splitting lines, testing defenses with those passes. You think of what Modric brought to Real Madrid. And I know Guler isn't Modric, but that's what he's in the team for, to be the new Luka Modric. And I think right now, he's falling a little short of it. Obviously, he takes his goal well. He arguably should have had a second one as well, too, in the second half. But for now, I think there's more to come from Guler. And I say more to come. I even think when Camavinga comes back, could Camavinga not just do what Guler is doing right now? I don't think Guler is doing anything that Camavinga couldn't, while Camavinga is also a much better defensive player. He's much stronger, he's much quicker, he's much more aggressive, he's taller than him. I think his role could be in trouble if Camavinga comes back and can remain fit. And the other one is Fede. I'm a huge Fede fan. I love the guy to death. But again, invisible for me today. I just felt that the midfield was largely bypassed for the most part. I think they were decent, but at times Mallorca really found too much success in the center of the park. And I think for Real Madrid, that's something that they need to master, because last season, it was a massive problem for them. They could not beat anybody in midfield. And every midfield battle they encountered, it was a loss. Arsenal, you think of Barca countless times. Too many times, man. It was a problem. So I think the return of Jude and Camavinga will definitely help, because these guys are playing decent, but I think there's more to come. Now, second thing I didn't like. I don't want to say didn't like because it sounds harsh, right? Because he's very, very young. And I honestly came into the season saying, I think Madrid need to introduce him slowly but surely. Franco Mastantuono, right? The youngster from River Plate. 17 years old, I believe, and he's a wonderful talent. Again, I watched every minute of him in the Club World Cup. He's got a wand of a left foot. He's very technically gifted, especially for a guy of that height. But I'm sorry, I came away from the Club World Cup thinking he's not ready. And I'm watching him today as well, too, and I'm baffled as to why Alonso has started him. And I think it's 2 games in a row now. Now, I understand that Alonso views Rodrigo as left-wing depth. I completely get that. But does that mean now that Rodrigo will never play on the right again for Real Madrid? He's going to stay, right? I think the time for a move is probably long gone. But does that mean now that he is for sure now, permanently, Real Madrid's new backup left winger? Because if that's the case, I don't think they have enough quality and depth on the right. Like Franco is playing there now, who I don't think is ready. I think he looks very raw. I think he clearly is adjusting to a new league, a new country, and the status that is Real Madrid. And then who's the backup right winger? Endrick when he comes back from being married, which I feel like he's been married for 30 years now at this point. What's the option on the right? What's going on? Brahim Diaz maybe? I don't know, man. Look, I definitely am of the opinion that Rodrigo is better on the right, but if you don't have anyone better than Rodrigo on the right, surely you just continue playing him there. That one's a little bit of a weird one. But look, Franco is good. He's very talented, but I just think it's way too early for him at the moment. He had that one moment for the Arda Guler disallowed goal where he showed terrific footwork, beating a man, very good trickery, very good close control. But for the most part, I almost feel like Franco's kind of still growing into this body because he's very tall, but he's kind of awkward at times as well too. You know who he kind of gives me vibes of? Javier Pastore. He gives me vibes of a left-footed Javier Pastore at the moment because Pastore was similar, right? Tall, lanky, but very, very fluid and very technical on the ball. They used to call him El Flaco, right? And I get that vibe from Franco. I think he's an amazing talent, but I definitely believe that starting him for Real Madrid right now is way too early. And I don't know whether Alonso is just trying to send a message with Rodrigo or I have no idea what's going on there because it's so bizarre to me. I think he's better on the left, but if his competition is Franco on the right, I'm sorry, bro. It's got to be It's got to be Rodrigo. Has to be. Has to be. Outside of that, guys, I mean, it was okay. Like, it wasn't a great Real Madrid performance by any stretch of the imagination. It was hardly a disaster as well, too. I think on a different day, maybe a better team could have punished them. But the reality is they did what they had to do against Mallorca. Every game for Real Madrid under Alonso is a learning curve, right? This is practically just like, it's another preseason for them until the international break, where then you start to hope that this kind of stuff can all come together. And then the bigger games come along. The Champions League comes along. I don't think it's worth taking too much out of these games. But what I will say is, while Alonso has made an impact, I think defensively they are a little more organized. Like, I think their team in general is a bit more structured. There is a long way to go until this side looks like a fluid, free-flowing Xabi Alonso team. Because right now, I'm going to be real, it looks like a group of very talented individuals trying their damn hardest, but not really succeeding at playing a system they've never played before. And it's not like they're being asked to do wrong. It's still 4-3-3, right? They're not playing 3 at the back or anything. But right now, it just still feels like everything is very, very new to them. It almost feels like they're relearning the game. But then again, even when you're relearning the game, when you have Mbappe, who has started the season amazingly, by the way, right? When you have Mbappe, when you have Vinicius, when you have these kinds of players, it might be enough. But I think to really be the team that we believe Madrid can be this year, and for them to achieve their ultimate goals, which they fell so far off of last season, it's a work in progress. Let me know what you guys thought about this game. Let me know what you guys learned. What did you guys think about the fullbacks? What did you guys think about Vini, Mbappe? Let me know all down in the comment section below. At the moment, guys, I mean, it helps that they're a year together under Hansi Flick, but Barcelona looked way more convincing in the games that I've watched them so far than Real Madrid. Let's see in a few months what that looks like. Because at the moment, I would still say Barcelona are the team to beat. But like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys very, very soon. Peace.